Hi everyone, welcome to Dynamic Modeling of Cities. You're with Max. So in this next part, I'm just going to show how to set up the analysis using Vray and this LinkedIn Revit model. First, I'm just going to select all the ceiling. You'll see here because we've exported by material that I can select it all at once. I'm going to right click on there and go to Object Properties and tick See-Through on Display Properties. And then under Rendering Control, I'm going to keep Render Rule on, but I'm going to turn off everything else except for Cast Shadows. And then hit OK. So this gives us a nice kind of view in the display of the floor plan where we can see through the ceiling. I mean, you can always turn it off, but I think sometimes it's just easy to see it on. Just gives you that option. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is start setting up a Vray Sun. I'm just going to head to this view here. Click Vray Sun. It's going to ask you if you want to set up as your current renderer. I'm going to select yes. So when you're doing a sun, it's a little bit opposite to your daylight system in 3ds Max. First, you need to click where you want your sun, and then you kind of place the target. I'm just going to ask you if you want to automatically add a Vray sky environment map. I'm just going to select yes. And replace. Okay. So if I jump to another window here, you might see it's a little bit out of whack. So we might just move that a little bit closer over here. And I might just move that up as well. Ooh, not too far up there. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect yet. So once you've got the Vray Sun in, we're going to go to Create Systems Daylight, and we're going to create a daylight sun just to use the hours, date, and the location settings. It's the opposite to Vray, so we need to click and hold first where we want the target and just drag out slightly to get that compass. Once you release your click, it will give you the sun to pull up. So you can just pull that up wherever you want and click again. So now I'm just going to add that location. I'm going to pretend we're in Melbourne. And now we've got that kind of angle of the sun. Okay. So it's probably good to put the target a little bit out of the model so you can kind of clearly see it. The next thing we want to do is actually select the Vray Sun. And you can use the Explorer here. And we want to align it to the daylight. Yep, so we want to align the position and the orientation. Apply. Okay. And then we want to align the Vray target to the compass, position and orientation. Select OK. Now what we want to do is link. So I'm just going to use the select and link tool. I'm going to click the Vray Sun, pull away and back in, and you'll see my square turn white. Now it's linked. And I'm going to do the same down here. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can select our daylight, go into the modifier tab. I might just drag this out. So we go to the motion tab. And you'll see pretty quickly whether it's following that sun. So the Vray Sun is now following that. The other thing we need to be mindful of is to turn this sun off from the rendering. So under these modify tabs, daylight parameters, I'm just going to select unselect active on sunlight and skylight. So now we're just using the system as a way to get the angle of the sun. Okay, so once we've got a sun hooked up to the daylight system and then it's moving with it, we just need to select that Vray Sun, go to modify, and the intensity modifier we want to kind of reduce. It's good to work out how many suns you want first so you know the rate now. Otherwise you have to individually change them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 6 suns. So that's going to be intensity 0.16666. So now I'm just going to copy this 6 times as a copy. Keep grabbing them. Copy. And then what I can do is, so once I've copied them, I'm just going to select the daylight system, motion. I'm going to go back to 10. So now I've got my 10 suns going from 10 to 3. And each Vray sun should be a 1/6 of intensity. So now that I've got that set up, and choose all this, I can set up my environment by pressing 8, environment and effects, and I'm going to put on this pseudo color control. I'm going to come down here, and the outdoor lux is generally considered to be 10,000. And this is kind of reduced onto the floor plan at about 5,000. So I'm just going to go with 10,000 and see if that kind of works out what we need. We want illuminance, not luminance. Keep it on colored, and logarithmic is pretty good as well. Although if you want a more gradual kind of legend or reading, I guess that's going to have some bearing. Just going to click, yep. I'm going to head to my render settings. I have Vray selected, and click render. Okay, so I think the ceiling is letting some light in. So what I'm going to do is give that ceiling a proper Vray material. I'm just going to open my material slate editor, go materials, Vray, and get a Vray material. And I'm just going to, so I've got that, just going to drag that onto the analytical ceiling. Let's go back to render. Okay, stop that. I need to select all my glass and add that. So I go to my slate material editor. I'm going to do another Vray material. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put the diffuse on black, reflection on just off-white, and the reflection just off-white as well. And change the glossiness to 0.9. And change this to 1.57. This one to 0.99, and this one, sorry, to 0.95. I'm going to put that on the glass. So I'm just going to put that on orthographic view. Hit my render button again. Now we're getting a much better reading of the daylight onto the floor plan.